Hello, everyone. Happy Halloween. Or if you're not watching this on Halloween, happy however many days it is until Halloween. So I had a plan to release this whole video on Halloween. A typical IAmTheSnuggler, like, I don't know what you want to call it, a video essay type video, but that didn't happen. Just life got in the way. And I did the same thing last year where I told myself I was going to have a video released on Halloween, and it also didn't happen. So, yeah, I think Halloween's cursed as far as my YouTube production schedule, because I just cannot get a video out on Halloween. So I thought I would just I still wanted to do something though. So this is a bit of a lower effort video, but nonetheless, a little IAmTheSnuggler Halloween special. So I'll just be playing this game, Spooky's House of Jump Scare, and kind of talking through it. I think this is one of those jump scare streamer baity games I've seen some streamers play. So I was like, this could just be a fun little thing to talk over. I will probably be talking over my words a lot because this is like a non-scripted video. I've never done one of these before, so bear with me. Anyways, Halloween is my favorite holiday of all time. And when I tell people that, they're typically like, I think as an adult, they're like, oh, do you love Halloween parties? And it's like, no, not really. I mean, parties are fun, but that's not really something I look forward to. Do I love dressing up? And no, I mean, it is fun to have a costume, but I've always felt like weirdly self-conscious dressing up. It's not for me. What I really love about Halloween, I think, is just the general vibe of the holiday. I love fall. I love the gray skies, orange leaves kind of look. For most of my life, I've lived in places where we tend to have really pretty falls, which is nice. And I just love, seeing the kids dress up, the sort of like all the sort of objects around Halloween, right? Like the costumes, the decorations, just the feeling. And I think part of that is just nostalgia for being a kid, for this time of year feeling very special. When there's limited edition Halloween items, you're looking forward to trick-or-treating. Your favorite cartoons all have their Halloween episode playing. I think that's a big part of it. But more, it just seems like a special time. I think fall in general is interesting, right? How did this idea that fall, or Halloween specifically, was this sort of middle point, right? Where spirits could maybe come to this world, where ghosts were closer than they normally were. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm kind of just going around in a circle here. And I think it makes sense, right? Because this time of year, fall, is like this total, liminal point between summer, the season of life, and winter, which is the season of death. So how could you not feel like the veil was a little bit thinner at this time of year? One other thing I love about Halloween is I love scary stuff in general. I always have, even since I was a little kid. I was obsessed with check out all the Halloween or monster themed. Sorry if you're like a pro at this game and you're just watching me like go around in fucking circles, but I would check out all the Halloween or monster themed books at my school and just kind of read them over and over. And I think that's something I've always loved, is like the scary story or the ghost story. It's something that I've always loved, telling a scary story when I get the chance. I've always loved hearing one, especially, around a campfire with friends, late at night, sleepover, that kind of thing. I think it's a really, interesting sort of universal thing across all cultures that sort of makes us human, right? This delight in telling these spooky stories that leave us with a feeling of fear or the unknown or whatever it is. So I myself have actually two sort of, I don't want to say ghost stories, but kind of unexplained supernatural stories. And I thought, I don't have a video because I was lazy, so why don't I just tell all of you one of these stories? So, as I said, I have two. Maybe another year I'll tell a different one, but the first one I'm going to tell you, and by the way, I'm not going to say like, oh, these stories are completely proof that ghosts exist. I don't even think I believe in ghosts, right? It makes so little sense that when we die, something continues here on this earth. But it also at the same time does make sense, because how could death be the end, right? And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's an evolutionary fear, but even if I tell myself I don't believe in ghosts, if I hear a noise late at night, I might, well, first, if I know it's not a robber, obviously, I'm going to think it's a ghost, even though I don't believe it. That's what I'm going to assume. And when I hear a ghost story, even if I can tell myself, oh, that's not real, they still scare me. So I think part of my brain does believe they're real. So anyways, Jesus, fuck you. Here is one of my IAmTheSnuggler ghost stories. So this one, my brother and I went to an elementary school probably 3 blocks from my home. It was like definitely under like a half a mile, probably a quarter of a mile. And our time at school, so my brother's older than me, but we did overlap a little bit. Seeing if I can go up there. We overlapped a bit. I think when I was in kindergarten, he was in 4th grade. So I think this story happened when I was in 1st grade. So he would have been in 5th. So every day we would walk to and from school because we lived just so close by. It wasn't a case of like, oh, it's dangerous for them to walk to school, because we lived like on very, very low traffic streets. So you basically crossed 3 streets, I think, and then you were pretty much home. School is only a couple blocks away. So my brother would actually do this thing that used to scare me so bad, where he would just like to purposefully scare me. He knew I was really scared of Chucky as a kid. I accidentally had seen an episode or a clip of Chucky on TV when I was channel surfing once. So he would make this like Chucky smiling face where he would just stare at me smiling, and it would honestly freak me out so much that like I would sometimes, I think, just run home and leave him there because I just couldn't stand looking at him. So we were passing by this house right by my house, very, very, very normal looking one. And all of a sudden we hear this just barking, super loud dog barking. And, you know, we live in a neighborhood where it's very often to have dogs, and it's very common to have dogs in your front yard. So we don't really think much of it, but we see this dog kind of come running at us. And I don't know if this is just childhood exaggeration, but in my head, this dog is like fucking like freaky looking. Like in my head, it's like this black, big, shaggy dog. It kind of looks like a black version of the dogs from Bloodborne in the first level in Yharnam. I have no clue how true that is. But in my head, I have this image of this black, shaggy dog. And this is one thing, I actually haven't asked my brother so much what like breed of dog it looks like, but we both say it's black, and we both remember it having, and it sounds crazy, I swear this dog had red eyes, like glowing red eyes. And this dog comes barreling out from around the backyard, barking at us. And I think that there's a moment where a dog's barking at you where you're like, oh, this is normal. And then there's a moment where it keeps going and you're like, oh, this dog is actually going to attack me, right? Like this isn't just them barking being territorial. They're actually going to potentially hurt me. So I think we both freaked out, right? Because this dog is barking at us, charging at us basically. And I want to say we turned around to sort of run away, get our bearings, and started running. And we looked back. I swear to God, this dog had completely disappeared into thin air. There was nothing there at all. And, you know, I know that's just what a child thinks, right? That's my childhood perspective. And I know there's explanations of what happened to the dog. You know, dogs are fast. It could have ran around the back of the house. But it's just one of those things that sticks in my head. And it still slightly freaks me out that we both saw this thing, right? Like, you can ask my brother about this, and he has pretty much the exact same memory, I think. So that is my one spooky story. I don't know about ghost story. That might be putting too big of a label on it, but that is my spooky story. My other story is more of an actual ghost story, but we're going to save that for another year, maybe another Halloween video. We'll see. That one I think is a little bit more unexplained. So that was the first part of the video. And now what I also wanted to do is actually, I made a community post about getting some questions for Q&A, because I did, not even recently at this point, I think like 3 months ago, hit 1,000 subs, which still amazing. Like, that's actually nuts to think about. Like, imagining 1,000 people standing in one room who are at least fans and liked my video enough to subscribe. Like, that's pretty cool. So I wanted to, and I got a lot of really great questions. So I wanted to do a Q&A. I wanted to answer some of these questions. So let me bring them up. I obviously am not a streamer because I don't really know. I don't even have a dual monitor. I'm borrowing someone else's and I don't really know how to use it. So anyways, the first question is from Cthulhu Sauce. She says, yay, Q, what horror game do you think doesn't get enough love, praise, or consideration? This is a great question. I don't actually know if I can think of too many. I mean, the boring answer is I want to say the games that I've done videos on, because part of the reasons why I did, videos on those in the first point, and by the way, I'm not paying attention to what's going on at all. Part of the reason why I did videos about those in the first point is because I wanted to get more eyes on them. But this is probably a weird answer, but if I had to say, it was this one Flash game I remember playing on Newgrounds.com. I think it was called The Dead Case, and I have no clue if this game holds up remotely, but I remember this game being foundational for my tastes. You play as a ghost, and you're investigating, I think, your own murder in this town, and you're sort of going around. It's like a point-and-click Flash adventure game, free online. But you can only talk to the other ghosts in town. So you sort of solve their deaths while solving your own deaths. I don't know how freaky it is. I remember there was a musical track in it I really liked. So I would say I would like to see more love, praise, consideration, or just like, more attention to this game, The Dead Case. And I think that's true for a lot of these browser games. I think sadly they have kind of been forgotten as Flash has become, it's fucking weird, as Flash has become more obsolete. Also, I like this cuck chair pointing directly at the wall. So I would say The Dead Case. And thank you so much for your question and your support, Cthulhu Sauce. Next question is from Uja, who has 4 questions. Or 5. He asks, who/what was your inspiration to get started with content creation? So honestly, I think it's probably a similar story to a lot of people. I just watched a lot of fucking YouTube videos about video games, and I really liked them. And you watch enough of them, and you're like, oh, these would actually be really fun to make. Like, I think that's kind of true for anything. If you listen to a lot of music, eventually you're gonna try your hand at music. So, but if I had to think of specific creators, it would be the YouTuber Mandalore Gaming. Is a person who I think like I really, really love his videos. I'm not super up to date anymore, but I really loved a lot of his videos, and he was a big inspiration. And then the YouTuber Grimbeard, who I think just hit 100K subs. He's another great YouTuber though. So I would say Mandalore Gaming and Grimbeard, but a lot of other random people along the way. And he asks, if you made your own game, what kind of game would it be? Gameplay, design, themes, etc. This is a great question because as a kid, I think like many kids, I would constantly think about like games I was going to create when I was an adult. And I'm pretty sure they're all knockoffs off games I played a lot as a kid. Like I played a lot of World of Warcraft as a kid. So I had an idea for this MMO, but I'm pretty sure it was just like an exact carbon copy of World of Warcraft and all the other, games I played, just like just a complete copy off everything. But yeah, if I had to make my own game, it would definitely be some sort of fantasy adventure, RPG action game, hopefully like more like with like a gothic horror theme. I actually do this thing where I often have trouble sleeping. When I can't sleep, I'll design boss fights in my head of like, if I made my own game, what boss fights would I have? Looks like there's someone yacked right here. So yeah, I would say a game like that, definitely with a lot of boss fights with a, fun combat system. But yeah, I don't know. I think that it would be so cool I don't have any of the technical skills. Oh my God, dude. I don't have any of the technical skills to make a game, but it would be super sick to do it. His next question is, what are your biggest video game pet peeves? I was thinking about this. I was trying not to think of generic ones. I have 2 though. Oh God damn it. I really don't like, not that I don't like, but I don't get why games don't have good music. Like when a game doesn't have a good or memorable soundtrack, because to me, like that is so foundational in establishing the atmosphere. So like if it feels like the devs didn't care about that, that is automatically a pet peeve for me because that's going to hurt my sense of atmosphere. And then this is completely personal. I don't like a lot of dialogue in games. I don't like, sitting through whole conversations. And, that's why I avoid certain games. Like Baldur's Gate 3, everyone is playing it. It looks fun, but I can't sit through that much dialogue. I just can't do it. I get so bored. And then he asks, is there any work of fiction you think would make for a great game that hasn't been made / draw inspiration from yet? Absolutely. So there's a lot, but what comes to my head first is there's this series called, I don't know what the actual name, I don't know what the actual name of the series is, but the first book is called Titus Grown. The second book is called Gormenghast. It's by this writer named Mervyn Peake. And it's basically this, I think you might call it fantasy, but this novel that takes place in this gigantic castle, like this never-ending castle with all these rooms and halls and towers, and there's all these sort of grotesque characters that live there. And it follows like the books follow these characters through a like series of events in their lives, and I just think it would be so cool. It would be such a cool setting for a video game, like this one gigantic, enormous castle that you're just like slowly going through. And I would really highly recommend reading these books if they sound interesting remotely. They're really well written. But yeah, there's just that world I feel like would be so rich for, God, please don't tell me I went all the way backwards. Well, it'll tell me at the top corner, right? No, I can't. Okay, I don't think I'm going backwards. So yeah, Titus Grown / Gormenghast. If you could play some couch co-op with any famous person, who would it be and what game would it be? Well, my instinct is to say old school RuneScape with Uja, but you said couch co-op. So I will say I would play Time Splitters 2 on the GameCube with Ice Spice and Pink Panthers. And thank you so much for your fantastic questions. Next up is Dr. Joseph Sweeney 6227, who asks, I've been really wondering what the inspiration for your name was and what painting is your profile picture. Sorry if these have been answered before, and I love your content. Well, thank you, and those have certainly not been answered before. So my name, IAmTheSnuggler. It's probably fairly easy to find, but it's from this sketch from this show called Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job, where Zach Galifianakis, the actor, plays this character called the Snuggler. The sketch actually is not necessarily that funny to me, but he says I am the Snuggler, but the way he said it always stuck in my mind. He goes, I am the Snuggler. And I don't know why, like, that has always it's just something that I think about a lot. Like, if that makes sense. So I always had I am the Snuggler in my head. And then this is going way back, but in my high school, we had this thing called Quizlet, which you might have had too. And in my Latin class, my friend and I became obsessed with making, oh, fuck you, dude. My friend and I became obsessed with making fake profiles and getting added to our AP Latin class on Quizlet. So we'd make all these weird profiles with weird names, and we'd make profiles for like other people at our school, which like sound like cyberbullying. But the funny part was just making the profile and adding the Quizlet class. And I think one day I made this profile called I Am the Snuggler, and the picture was like this like gross, creepy old man's like headshot. And like it was like kind of like, and this shows like what kind of person I was in high school, but it's kind of like a crowning achievement of high school. My Latin teacher was like, who is I Am the Snuggler? And I thought that was so funny. So that is the explanation of the name. And as for the icon, it's a kind of random. So there's this medieval, I'm gonna sound way more smart than I actually am, but there's like this medieval manuscript called something of Pantagruel. I'll put the actual name, but it's basically all these like sort of cute little monster characters in this like woodcut manuscript form. And one of the monsters is the logo of my channel. I really liked his vibe. I thought he was really cute. And I just cut the background and added orange because I'm like, there's not a lot of like YouTube channels who have orange as their color, right? Like you've seen purple, red, blue. So yeah, that's an explanation, and thank you a lot for your question. All right, I'm going to pause and scroll down so I can see everyone else's question. Will Penn 9696 asks, what game do you feel had the most wasted potential? This is hard because I usually play games after they release, right? So I don't necessarily, like, if a game got bad reception, I'm going to know it, and maybe I should be more experimental, but I probably wouldn't try it, right? Like, I didn't try Cyberpunk 2077. Like, I wasn't hyped for that. But I'll say Resident Evil 7, because the first two levels of Resident Evil 7 are some of the scariest, best gameplay, like, not that I can think of, but just really, really good, right? Where you're in the house, you're fighting the dad, Jack Baker, and then Marguerite Baker, the mom. Those two levels are terrifying. I don't think I've ever played a game scarier than that, because like you have the first person perspective and everything looks like it's like a live leak film, right? It's terrifying. And then after that, it just really, really, really falls off, which I think is sadly kind of a theme with all the Resident Evil games. You don't even scare me anymore because that kind of coming after me. And even playing Resident Evil 8, I've played a bit of that. And the first level, the castle, is amazing. And then the other levels are a little disappointing. So I think that's a problem just in the series, that things don't always live up. The Resident Evil games often start off so strong, have an okay middle, and then just fall apart at the end, which is really too bad because I would say that's one of my favorite series ever. Next question is from Bob Bossawaya 2885, who asks, what is a bad game that you actually like? So my instinct is to say I play a lot of really dumb iPhone games on my phone. Just horrible waste of time, probably rots my brain too because they're not remotely engaging. But I just get addicted to playing them when I'm just sitting there. Saved. Nice. Oh, that heals me too. Cool. But like if you get an Instagram ad for a game, I've probably downloaded it and played it, which I'm not proud of, but those are bad games that I kind of like. I wouldn't even say I like them though. So for a bad game I actually like the late Silent Hill games. Silent Hill, Homecoming, and Downpour. Those games still have plenty of charm to me. Obviously, I know they're not as good as the first three, or even four, but I will say late stage Silent Hill games. And if they made another one, even if it was mid, I would still love it and play it. Balloon Breath asks, what are some of your favorite pop culture moments? What's your sign? What's your favorite color? There's a lot of pop culture moments that I think are funny. Let me think. I think that the one that comes to mind immediately is when Lil Boosie the rapper was filming himself at a Planet Hollywood on the treadmill and screaming at his phone to ask Dwayne Wade not to cut his son's penis off. That's pretty funny. My sign is an Aquarius, and my favorite color is a blue. Thanks for your question. Billy McDonough asks, what are your top 3 favorite game genres? So, great question. First would be just that action RPG adventure game, basically I would I would class most of the FromSoft games there. I would class the Legend of Zelda games. Those are games I never get sick of playing. I'm always looking for new ones. I'm playing Lies of P right now, which is pretty fun, which is very fun, sorry, but definitely really frustrating. Second would be horror games, of course. And I don't mean horror games like specifically games meant to scare you. I mean games with horror elements, right? So I would class Resident Evil games there, Silent Hill, but also like I would even like, consider Bloodborne or other games to be horror, like games that are meant to in some way scare or nerve you. And the third would just be like weird, like computer adventure games, like really unique games like Return of the Obra Dinn, Outer Wilds, Case of the Golden Idol. Just like weird games where the developers clearly took a big risk and wanted to try something weird and different, and I think usually paid off. So I said those top three are my favorite. Do I want to play this? Cat DOS. This looks dumb. Sorry. And then next question is from Angry and Tired, who asks, "Give me the hot take, Sir Snuggly. What is an overrated horror game?" I can't really think of one, because I think a lot of the franchises that are called overrated, I'm actually a fan of. I would say though, like, and I don't even know how rated this game is. I think it's kind of slightly a meme now, but Outlast, it never seems super interesting to me. It's scary, but it's very on rails. Just kind of throwing freaky stuff at you. I'll say Outlast. I don't know. I don't feel super strong about that. And then he says, "What do you get at the gas station? Salty, sweet, drink. Keep grinding, my guy. We're all ready to be snuggled." Well, thank you so much. I'm trying to eat a little bit better, but at my classic gas station order, if I was like going on a long car ride and just really wanted some dopamine from my food, would be a white Gatorade. I think it's the Glacier Cherry Seminole Fluid looking Gatorade with pizza combos, which have like enough calories to, feed a village, and the purple Lifesaver gummies, the wild berry Lifesavers. Absolute favorite candy in the entire world. Never get sick of it. But I did recently have this, there was like this Arnold Palmer flavored candy at the gas station I went to recently that I picked up that were surprisingly very, very good. Thank you for your question. Let me pause and see the next level. Okay, only 3 left. Lucas the Llama. I'm so sorry. I should know your name. I'm a huge fan of your channel. Says, "Yo, let's go. I have 3 questions. What is a comfort game or piece of media you consume during Halloween?" There's a lot, actually. So I always play Bloodborne every Halloween. Bloodborne is my favorite game of all time. I never get sick of it. If anything, it's now become kind of sad because it's like, when a Bloodborne campaign is over, it feels like October's over. It feels like Halloween is over. And I have to wait a whole nother year to play it again. So Bloodborne is absolutely the game I play every year. And I look forward all year to playing it. Like in June, I'll be like, I really want to play Bloodborne, but I have to wait till October. And it always pays off. And then for other media, the series Over the Garden Wall is amazing if you haven't seen it. I don't really know how to describe it. I would just say go watch it. I watch that every Halloween. By the way, I don't know what's going on in this game, so sorry if I'm frustrating you. And then another series I watch every Halloween is called Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, which is this really hilarious like comedy mockumentary hospital horror show. It's hard to describe. It's like 6 episodes though. Just go watch it. I think it's the kind of thing you either love it or you hate it. And then I always like to read horror books around Halloween. I like to read horror books the whole month of October. So I'd say those are my comfort media. I probably have more than the average person. That's like 4 things I said. So yeah, but those are all things that give me that nice, warm, cozy feeling in Halloween. What is going on, Donk? Ding. Oh, I want ding, I think. Sorry, I've just been like running through this fucking game. Okay, go back there. Interesting. Who's your favorite YouTuber? My favorite YouTuber is Lucas the Llama. How are you? I'm good. I'm hot. I always turn off my air conditioning. I always turn off my air conditioning to record audio. And I'm hot. I'm sweaty. But I'm good. And then Jay Shukla, 1331, asks, would you rather be the smartest or most beautiful person on Earth? JK, you're already both. I would be the most beautiful person on Earth. Sorry, I feel like, okay, I'm actually going to stop because I feel like this is like people watching are probably like, what the hell are you doing? Ding. Okay, I want ding. No. Okay, well, is this possible? Anyways, but he says, real question. What are some times a game has changed your IRL perspective on things? I love this question. I would say the game The Outer Wilds is an absolutely fantastic game. And I don't want to reveal the ending, but I do think, naturally as humans, we're afraid of the end, right? Whether it's death, the end of a friendship, a relationship, the end of a loved one's life, the end of the world, just thinking about why does anything matter if I'm going to die one day? Oh, I figured it out. Fuck off, bro. Okay. Okay, wait. I think I'd go straight. Dude, this is actually so annoying. Is there any, set? Okay, ding. Ding. Donk. Ding. Ding. Then I go this way. Donk? Fuck off, bro. Ding. Anyways, sorry. Outer Wilds, the ending. I think it honestly helped me truly come to peace with all things will end, right? Something new and amazing is gonna take its place. It's something I'm still working on, that idea, but I would say that genuinely for a game, I can't think of anything that affected me that much as the end of Outer Wilds. So, excellent question. Thank you for your question. I would say play Outer Wilds. I don't want to tell you anything about it because it's such a good game. I don't want to spoil it for you. And last, Balloon Breath asks another question. When will you make a video on Slime Rancher? Please, sir. Now, I love Slime Rancher as much as the next person, but fuck off. I don't know if I want to. I should play this video so that I don't get too frustrated trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. Because I know that if I wasn't trying to talk, I could have the brain power to do it. But right now, absolutely not. I love Slime Rancher, but what can I say about it? It's just a fun, sweet, addicting game. I don't know what perspective I can add to it. Just play Slime Rancher. That's what my video would say. My video would say, hey, stop watching this video and go play Slime Rancher. Anyways, thank you so much for your questions. I'm just going to pause it here. I'm just going to chill in this room, actually. Thank you so much for your questions. I hope you have had a wonderful Halloween. I want you to know that, first of all, I want you to know that you matter. You people who watch my videos, who comment on them, I don't think you realize how happy a nice comment can make me, or, new subscribers. You people are the unsung heroes, you commenters, and just subscribing, letting someone know that you appreciate what they're doing, because, I don't get paid for this. I do this for fun. I have a job. I work. I do this in my spare time because it is actually genuinely fulfilling. So I want to say that no matter how long it takes me to release a video, there will be one coming. I'm not going to ever give up on this channel because it's been so gratifying. It's not stressful, right? Because I can take however long I want. It's not my career. It's just my interest. So I want to say thank you for joining me on this journey. There will be plenty more from me. I wish you all the good fortune in the world. I remain your faithful snuggler. Happy Halloween.